Welcome, everyone, to the Education Exchange. I am your host, Jeremy Caius, Superintendent, Tolleson Union High School District. And with us today is the president of Estrella Mountain Community College, Mr. Ray Rivera. Let's tee it off. Ray, tell the audience about yourself.
Hey, good morning, Ray Rivera, proud third president of Estrella Mountain Community College. We're one of the youngest of the Maricopas. We've been in business for about 34 years. And we're really excited about the opportunity to be here today and talk to Superintendent Caius about partnership opportunities between Tolleson Union High School and Estrella Mountain Community College.
Thank you, Ray. Now, we do have a great partnership going. We're always making it better. A lot of our students and our families do choose Estrella Mountain after Tolleson Union, but some don't. And I want to make sure that we clear up any possible barriers, anything that's causing hesitation on their end. I want them to know that everything that Estrella has to offer for them. So first, let's talk finances. Now, graduation night over here, we'll do it at State Farm. Everybody's very excited. We have big eyes, big dreams. And then reality sets in right after graduation, and parents start thinking about, can we really afford post-secondary education? Like what kind of sacrifices is that going to take? So let's just get to affordability first. How affordable is it for families to go to Estrella Mountain Community College?
It's pretty affordable. So our tuition credit hour is about $97. So if they're going to take two classes, that's about $600 for the tuition for those two classes. Or if they're full time, 12 hours, then you're looking at about $1,200 to pay for the classes there at Estrella. However, there's opportunities, right? What I would recommend for students that are just graduating is to fill out the free application for federal student assistance, and that's called the FAFSA. For recent graduates, if they actually apply right now, they can qualify for the year 23-24, which allows them to pay for credits over the summer if they want to be proactive in terms of taking classes as soon as they graduate. However, if they want to wait, take a summer vacation, they can actually apply for the FAFSA for the fall of 24. And what that allows them to do is actually they can apply for grants, right? They can apply for work study. So if they want to work while they're actually taking classes, right, through various programs that we have there at the college, or they can actually do loans as well. However, given the cost that I just mentioned, most of the grants work study should cover that cost, right? So really, they're really working to pay for things like books or other fees that come associated with the classes. But first and foremost, apply for the FAFSA and apply now, because those funds are there for them. And like I said, they will cover the majority of costs associated with the college so far.
That sounds great, Ray. Now, we have a lot of hardworking families, middle-class families. Their income levels, they may be worried that their income level is maybe too high to qualify for some free assistance, but not quite high enough to actually afford to pay the tuition. So what is it you see typically with families around that income level? Is it that anything that isn't covered by free assistance from the federal government, that they are able to secure loans? Like, is there always a path for someone to find a way to get their college covered?
Yeah, I mean, if they're really I would first tell them just apply and see what they qualify for, right? Because if for some reason they don't qualify for the grants or for the work study and they have to look at loan as a pathway, there's other programs that we have in place. Like, for example, we have our Presidential Honor Scholarship, and to qualify for that, there is no income level. All the students have to be is that they enroll in a Maricopa Community College, and they had to have had a high school GPA or 3.25 or higher. So just with those two qualifications right there, we gave out about 1,000 presidential scholarships last year for about $1,000. So if you go back to when I said, if they're full-time taking 12 hours, it's about $1,200. That pays for the majority of the costs of those classes.
So I want to make sure I recap this, and I got it right for the families.
Sure.
You're telling me any student who, over the course of their 4 years with us over here at Tolleson Union High School District, finishes with a GPA, an unweighted grade point average of 3.25 or better, which means, mostly at least some B's with some A's scattered in there,
right,
that they are going to get free tuition their entire time at Estrella Mountain?
I would say yes, for the most part, right? They'll get most of it paid for. But the nice thing about that is even if they go into the workforce, like suppose they graduate and decide, hey, I'm going to go work for a little bit and come back, as long as they apply within a year of graduation, they will have access to those funds. And The amounts vary, so I can't say it'll pay for all the tuition. But right now, they seem to be having an upward trajectory. So they're about $1,000 a student.
You outlined a few opportunities there. What's the possibility that we could start stacking some of these opportunities together? So if someone takes the presidential scholarship and that's covering most of their tuition costs, are they still able to get other things like Pell Grants and other scholarships they can stack on top of that?
Yes. So the way it works with financial aid is that typically the Pell Grants come first, right? So our financial aid office will utilize Pell Grant money to pay for tuition and costs of that nature. And then whatever they get in addition to that will pay the remaining portion, right? So yes, they could actually, that's why I always recommend apply for the FAFSA, because that's kind of their foundation. If they get a Pell Grant, then that will pay for the majority of their expenses, right? But if they qualify for these other scholarships, that gives them additional funds for housing, other expenses that they may have associated with education.
Let's run with that last expense that you just mentioned, because that is probably the third leg of the financial stool there. I mean, when you got to get tuition covered, you got to get your books covered.
Yes.
There's also some food to worry about, but let's get on that housing, because you mentioned housing. How many of your students are actually staying there at Estrella Mountain versus still staying home with their parents? If they're local students, they stay home with their parents while attending EMCC.
Well, EMCC, we don't have dorms, right? So all of our students are commuters, right? They're going to come take their classes and then go back home, wherever home may be, with their parents or if they're living on their own, right? So, but we have resources for them to utilize most of the time from 7 to about 10 o'clock at night. So we have our computer commons that they can access and utilize for any homework assignment that they have. We have a tutoring center that they can access as well. So they can go take their classes, utilize the resources that we have. We even have a food pantry and clothing pantry just in case. Hunger should never be an obstacle in terms of getting a good education. So, and we recognize that. So just to kind of give you an example, we had about 3,000 students utilize our food pantry services. So all they have to do is go to our student union. There is a pantry there they can go and grab, like if they're going to a Circle K or some type of convenience store, and then they're ready for whatever classes you're going to take for the day, right? But hunger should not be an option for the students that attend.
You said Estrella Mountain Community College does not have on-site housing, any dormitories. What about assistance with off-site housing? Does Estrella Mountain have any pre-existing arrangements with surrounding maybe multifamily developments or anything of that nature?
We do not. However, we do partner with a lot of nonprofits in the community. So if they want to, for example, if they need vouchers for babysitting, right? If they need someone to take care of their kids, we partner with various agencies throughout the West Valley so that they can get a voucher and utilize those funds for daycare, right? I mentioned that we have a partnership with St. Mary's Food Bank. That's how we populate our food pantry. And then we also have emergency assistance. So one thing that I forgot to mention in terms of the pathways, right? So there's 3 pathways for financial assistance. There's the FAFSA, there's the Presidential Honor Scholarship, and then we have a Maricopa Foundation that if they just go to that Maricopa Foundation website, they can fill out one application and they qualify for potentially hundreds of scholarships. Some of those scholarships don't get utilized because people don't apply for them. So if they're just proactive, right, they can have resources really to cover pretty much a good chunk of their expenses for the year.
Now you touched on another thing there I want to run with. You just said that you guys do child care vouchers. So you're telling me that for our students who maybe have started their family at a young age,
mm-hmm.
and they're looking at, I can't possibly go to college and push myself to do more because I have to worry about providing for my baby. I have to work all the time and I have to be home all the time. You're telling me that you're running childcare scholarships for them? You got vouchers? Exactly how does that work?
So they actually just have to go to our student services department, and there they can provide them, and our counseling department. So they will provide them with all the resources that we have available. So what I would recommend is they do this early on in the semester, because some of these resources may be finite, meaning that they may run out, right, if they wait too long. But we do have partnerships in terms of transportation. So we do have bus passes that we can provide students, but then we can also provide them daycare vouchers for certain facilities around the area, right? But my recommendation is do that early because they will run out.
So essentially what you're saying is if you're willing to work hard and you can put a little planning into it, there is a path to get your degree with Estrella Mountain Community College.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. And the good thing about whatever students are deciding to do, right? So if they see their long-term plan is to transfer, They can stay with us 2 years. All the courses that they take, right, will transfer to any state university. So NAU, GCU, Grand Canyon, University of Arizona, you name it, our courses transfer there. If they want to go into the workforce, right, we have programs that can be from 10 days. So literally 10 days, they can be qualified and apply for positions for some companies in the Valley, or they can get certificates that will give them stackable credentials, meaning that they can get a certificate for something like an IT and within a semester be out in the workplace, or continue along that pathway and get a bachelor's degree at one of our transfer partner universities.
So you have varying paths that range everywhere from as little as 10 days until we get you into the workforce,
yes,
to as much as a 4-year degree right there with Australia Mountain Community College?
Exactly. Yeah, and the nice thing about that time frame is that they can certainly start with us, right? Some of our sister community colleges are also offering 4-year degrees. So, for example, if they want to do something like behavioral health sciences, they can start with us and then go to South Mountain Community College and get a 4-year baccalaureate degree there. So they wouldn't even have to leave the city of Phoenix, right? They can just go down the road and get a 4-year degree as well.
Now, all these opportunities sound amazing for our students. Let's talk about what happens after community college. We're doing our best here at the high school district to get them to you. We want to make a successful transition there. But at some point, there's that transition to the workforce. Yeah. How exactly does it work when you're about to graduate from Australia Mountain Community College, whether you've been there for 10 days or 4 years? What does that handoff look like with getting them into the workforce? Because some of these students, like the only job they've had is maybe, working at a fast food place, nothing that's going to be in line with where they're getting their education. So how do we get them that first step forward into a business?
That's a very good question. So we fortunately have some really strong partnerships with a lot of industry partners, right? So we actually have a center of experiential learning. And what that really means is students can go to the center and either get a service learning opportunity so they can volunteer somewhere in the community and get some entry-level experience, right? But if they want to get something that closely aligns to their degree pathway, we actually have internships with various industries, right, that are looking to give students their first experience in the workforce. So, and I can give you some examples. So, for example, in our IT fields, right, we have many of the West Side Valley businesses that are looking for IT techs and looking for giving students an opportunity to kind of get their first foot in the door. Just to kind of give you an example, we were working with the city of Avondale. They wanted us to create websites for their small businesses. And so we had our students kind of work and partner with these small businesses to give them a web presence. So these are just kind of small examples. We also have we just partnered with Intel to do an artificial intelligence program. So we are one of the first community colleges in the nation that offer a 2-year degree in artificial intelligence and machine learning. So students go there, they have some amazing partnerships and potential internships with companies like Intel. So it just depends on what they want to do. If they want to be an engineer, we have a really strong STEM center of excellence that is already aligned with many companies in the Valley that can provide assistance for students to not only apply for jobs like part-time jobs in the summer, but can provide for internships that ultimately may help them pay for their college. So another pathway to pay, right? So I think there's lots of opportunities. It just depends on the students going to getting their degree paths, talking to their faculty member, the faculty that are teaching their classes. A lot of them have really strong connections in the community and can provide them ideas and opportunities in terms of what internships to apply for and which makes the most sense depending upon their pathway.
You've definitely highlighted a wide array of opportunities there at Australia Mountain. But if someone wanted to see the full list of opportunities for becoming a mountain lion and what you can do afterwards, where would you send them to get a more comprehensive look at everything that's available at Australia Mountain?
Yeah, I would highly recommend that they go to our website, right? So they can go to www.australiamountain.edu, and right on top of the banner there, it'll say enrollment or students. Click on that student button, and you're going to learn about how to enroll, how to find financial aid, whether it be through the FAFSA or through these other grant applications that I mentioned. They can find out about all the resources that we have. Our computer commons, our tutoring center, our laptop loaner program for those students that need to have some type of digital equipment when they first start there at Estrella. But it also gives them links to all our community resources, right? So the things that I mentioned, the bus passes, daycare vouchers, any type of community assistance that they might have. If they need assistance for housing, right, it connects them to some of our nonprofits or city partners that provide this other type of assistance. So really, and if that doesn't work for them, they can always come to the college, come to our enrollment center, and there will be somebody there to help them and answer their question, whatever it may be. So there really shouldn't be an excuse, right? If they truly want to come to the college, they can come on, they can browse online and figure out, what are the resources that I need and I can get from online. But if they do have any questions, I highly recommend that they just take the short drive to Estrella, and there'll be somebody there to help them.
So Ray, we talked a lot about how affordable it is to go to Estrella Mountain Community College, but how about to get that first step with Estrella Mountain Community College while you are still here at Tolleson Union High School District? What do those opportunities look like between our district and the community college in terms of dual enrollment and getting some credits early?
That's something that I think is probably one of the best kept secrets in Arizona, is that students can take classes while in high school, right, that count towards college credit at, for example, community college. So Estrella, we have many dual enrollment partners. Of course, we have a really strong one with Tolleson Union. So I think they just have to learn how to enroll in these classes at Tolleson. But they're going to be taking up to a semester or year-long class, right? That at the end, they will have college credit, at least 3 credit hours that they can utilize for a certificate or a degree path at Estrella. So I would highly recommend them to do that. We actually have several partnerships with different high schools where students graduate high school and also graduate with a certificate or an AA in hand. So anything they can do to advance or to get credits under their belt only helps them when they transition to the college, if that's their path.
Ray, thank you for sharing that wealth of opportunities that are available over at Estrella Mountain. And I'm sure we're going to keep putting more information out to our students as we gear up and get ready for Commitment Day. And of course, we know Estrella Mountain is committed to Commitment Day, where we are going to bring all of our students out to State Farm Stadium, let them know all of the possible options that exist for them for life after high school, and they will get to make their selection at that point. And I know many will choose to go over there and be a mountain lion. They'll go visit your booth. They'll get their nice pin and their gear and get ready to go over to Estrella Mountain. So looking forward to your participation over at Commitment Day.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. My team is super excited to be there and meet all the future mountain lions.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you again for being our guest. This is the Education Exchange, where we aim to enlighten parents and empower students. And we have teed off this conversation with you. Now you can go ahead and take it home with Estrella Mountain directly. Thank you again for listening to our show.
And that's the end of our show. Thank you for listening. The Education Exchange is brought to you by Superintendent Jeremy Cailles and produced by the Tolleson Union High School District. To learn more about the guests you heard on today's episode, please visit us at www.tuhsd.org. And if you like this podcast, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and tune in next week for another episode of The Education Exchange.